It was just a shirt, a piece of fabric, really. But it wasn't any ordinary shirt, it was my favorite, part of a rare collection from a designer I admired deeply. I had saved for months to afford it, and it represented more than just style. It was a trophy, a testament to my hard work and success. That morning, as I shuffled through my closet looking for it, the empty hanger swung mockingly. The shirt was missing. At first, I thought I had misplaced it, perhaps left it at the cleaners or lent it to a friend, but nothing added up. As the day dragged on, the absence of that shirt nagged at me, a small but persistent itch in the back of my mind. Later that evening, as I lounged on the couch scrolling through social media to unwind, I froze. There it was, in my shirt. But it wasn't on me or draped over a chair in my home. It was on another man, his arms wrapped around Jenna, my wife. They were at some downtown cafe, smiling, carefree, and in my shirt. I stared at the screen, the image blurring as a cocktail of betrayal and disbelief mixed a bitter drink in my mind. How could she? But the evidence was there, in high definition. The man was an acquaintance from her gym, someone she had mentioned in passing, always casually, always innocently. Yet, here he was, not so innocent, wearing my clothes and embracing my wife. The rest of the night was a blur of anger and plotting. I couldn't confront her yet, I needed more than just a photo. I needed to understand the depth of her deceit. I decided to watch, wait, and gather more evidence. My plan started the next day. I took a personal day off work, citing a made-up emergency. I needed to see for myself what Jenna was up to when she thought I was at the office. Following her was surprisingly easy. She was careless, wrapped up in her new romance, not in the mundane patterns of her marriage. I watched from a distance as she met him again, this time at a park. They laughed and walked with a closeness that confirmed my worst fears. It wasn't just my shirt that had been shared, it was her heart, her affections, everything that was supposed to be exclusively ours. The anger in me boiled over, but I tamped it down. Revenge, I decided, would be cold. It would be calculated. And it would be devastating. I began to plan how I would dismantle the life we had built together, piece by piece, starting with exposing her infidelity to our friends and family. As I sat in my car watching them part ways with a kiss that seared my soul, I didn't just see a cheating wife. I saw a stranger, and in that moment, I knew our paths would soon diverge forever. I was no longer her husband, I was the architect of her undoing. And this was just the beginning. I spend the next few days gathering concrete evidence of Jenna's betrayal. I hire a private investigator, ensuring every secretive rendezvous and whispered phone call is documented. My heart hardens with each captured moment, the photos and videos a growing arsenal for the upcoming confrontation. Today is the day I confront her. As I hear her car pull into the driveway, my stomach tightens. I'm sitting in the darkened living room when she enters, her face flush with the excitement of her secret, another day spent with him. Jenna, I begin, my voice steady despite the storm inside, we need to talk. She pauses, a slight frown crossing her face as she notices the darkness, the seriousness in my tone. What's going on? Why are all the lights off? I flick on the lamp beside me, illuminating the printed photos spread across the coffee table. Her eyes dart to the images, widening in shock as she takes in the visuals of her indiscretions. What is this? Her voice is a mix of fear and defiance. It's us, Jenna. Or rather, it's you, but not with me. I stand, facing her as she slowly walks over to look at the pictures more closely. Care to explain? She trembles, tears forming, but I'm beyond consoling her now. I don't know what to say. Start with the truth. Why him? Why wear my shirt? My questions pierce the tense air between us. Jenna sobs, covering her face with her hands. It just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I was just what? Bored? Lonely? Looking for something I couldn't give you? My voice rises, a crescendo of hurt and anger. She nods, her voice a whisper. I was lost. I didn't realize. I never thought it would hurt you like this. I laugh bitterly. You never thought, Jenna. That's the problem. You never thought about me. The air is thick with betrayal. I step closer, my resolve solidifying. I want a divorce, Jenna. I want you out of this house. Her tears fall freely now. Please, can we talk about this? Can we go to counseling? I'll do anything. No, the word is final, a door closing. It's too late for that. You've made your choices. Now, I'm making mine. Jenna begs, pleads for forgiveness, but my heart is sealed off. I hand her the envelope. Here's the contact for my attorney. He'll handle everything from here. As she takes the envelope, her hand shakes. Is there no chance for us? No chance, I affirm, turning away to hide the fracture in my own composure. You should leave now. She hesitates, then, with a resigned sigh, gathers a few belongings and walks out. The door closes softly behind her, a quiet end to our tumultuous saga. Alone, I sit back down, the images on the table glaring up at me. This isn't the end, I realize. It's just another painful step towards a new beginning. My thoughts turn to my next moves, how to rebuild from the ruins of a once loving relationship. I know the road ahead is fraught with challenges, but I'm ready to face them, armed with a newfound resolve born from the ashes of betrayal. The silence of the house in the aftermath of Jenna's departure is deafening. Each room whispers memories, each corner echoes her laughter. But those reverberations of a happier past are quickly swallowed by my resolute plans for retribution. My grief is rapidly calcifying into a cold, hard resolve. I spend the next morning meticulously changing locks and passwords, erasing Jenna from the digital and physical spaces of my life. The weight of her betrayal still presses heavily on me, but with each changed lock, I feel a slight lifting, a reclaiming of my space and self. That afternoon, I arrange a meeting with our mutual friends, the Smiths. I choose a neutral coffee shop, a public place where emotions are less likely to explode unchecked. As I wait, I rehearse the narrative, the unveiling of Jenna's deceit. The Smiths arrive, their expressions a mix of concern and curiosity. Is everything okay? Mrs. Smith asks, her voice laced with worry. I nod, signaling for them to sit. I wish it were under better circumstances, but I have something important to discuss. Now, I'm making exchange uneasy glances as I lay out the printed evidence, the photos, the texts. The shock on their faces mirrors the disbelief I felt days ago. Mr. Smith leans forward, his brows furrowing. Are you sure about this? Jenna and this other man? Absolutely, I reply, the evidence irrefutable in its clarity. Mrs. Smith covers her mouth, her eyes sorrowful. What are you going to do now? I've already asked her to leave. We're getting a divorce, I state, the word still strange on my tongue. The conversation shifts as they process the news. We talk strategies, legalities, mutual friendships. They promise discretion but support, a solidarity in the face of Jenna's betrayal. Later, I make my way to Jenna's workplace. Not to confront her, but to secure another piece of my planned retribution. I meet with her boss, a stern, middle-aged woman who values the company's reputation above all. I thought you should know, given the circumstances, I say, presenting the evidence discreetly. Her reaction is measured, professional. I'll handle it from here. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, she assures me, her tone leaving no room for doubt about Jenna's impending professional crisis. Back at home, I take a moment to reflect. My actions today were not just about revenge, they were about reclaiming control, setting the terms of my new life's narrative. Yet, the satisfaction I expected feels hollow, tinged with sadness. The phone rings, breaking my reverie. It's the private investigator with more updates, more secrets unveiled. There's more you should see, he insists, hinting at deeper deceits. Send everything over, I reply, steeling myself for the next wave of revelations. Whatever it is, I'm ready. My journey of retribution is far from over, and each step unveils more of the path I must take to find peace. The evening closes in, and I prepare for the next move, the intrigue of my unraveling marriage still spinning new threads. The final pieces of Jenna's betrayal lay bare before me, the evidence more damning than I had ever imagined. The private investigator's latest findings not only confirm her infidelity but also reveal a deeper deception involving financial treachery that cuts to the core of what little trust remained. Armed with this new information, I plan the last act of my retribution, a public unveiling that would not only strip her of her pretenses but also expose her to the scrutiny of those she values most, her peers and family. The opportunity presents itself at a large gathering hosted by a mutual friend, an annual event where appearances mean everything. I arrive early, a USB containing all the evidence in my pocket, my heart pounding a rhythm of impending justice. As guests mingle, laughter and light chatter filling the elegant space, I spot Jenna arriving, her face a mask of feigned innocence. She hasn't seen me yet, and I use this to my advantage, slipping to the multimedia setup. Slipping to the multimedia DJ, handing him the USB. I have a surprise slideshow for the hosts, I lie smoothly. Would you mind playing it? He nods, unsuspecting, and as the room dims for what guests assume is a tribute to the hosts, the first image flickers onto the screen. It's Jenna, but not as they know her, a Jenna laughing intimately with her lover, the very picture of deceit. The room falls silent, the air thick as each slide exposes more of Jenna's duplicity. Whispers begin to swirl, the shock palpable. Jenna's eyes find mine across the room, her face draining of color, realization dawning that her secrets are no longer her own. I step forward as the last slide fades out, the silence my cue. For years, I loved a woman I thought I knew. But what you've just seen is the real Jenna, a truth she meant for none of us to know. The crowd is motionless, enraptured by the drama unfolding before them. Jenna tries to speak, to salvage some dignity, but her words falter under the weight of her exposed sins. I planned this, I continue, my voice cold, every word a nail in the coffin of our relationship. Not out of spite, but as a necessity. To show that deceit finds no shelter, no matter how artfully hidden. Jenna makes a move, perhaps to escape, but her path is blocked by the murmuring crowd, their faces a mixture of sympathy and judgment. Her lover, until now a shadow in her narrative, tries to slink away, but I'm not finished. And him, I point, making sure all eyes follow. He's as complicit as she is. May you both find solace in the company of your shared deceit. Security, forewarned, escorts them out, their exit a spectacle none will soon forget. As the door closes behind them, the tension breaks, and the room slowly returns to a murmur of activity. I stand alone, the cold satisfaction of my revenge settling in. Yet, it's hollow, tasting more of ash than victory. In the quiet of my return home, the true cost of this retribution becomes clear. I've won, yes, but at what cost? The love I had turned into a public court, the intimacy we shared now just a spectacle of betrayal. The house feels emptier tonight, the silence not of peace, but of absence. I realize that while I have excised the betrayal, I am left with a void, a life to rebuild, not from love, but from the ruins of vengeance. As I sit looking at the darkened windows, a reflection staring back at me, I understand finally that while I may have routed Jenna and her deceit from my life, the greatest deception was perhaps the belief that revenge could ever replace the heartbreak, the belief that revenge could ever. Reflection, I start to see the path ahead, not one of revenge, but recovery. A journey not back to who I was, but forward to who I need to become.